We the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, started out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander General Yohana. We've been bringing this truth since 1969. That truth is that the so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives are the true Jews of the Bible, and the white man is the devil that the Bible speaks of. Tonight's class is going to be gather yourself together, O nation not desire. You understand? The Most High knows our ails. He knows the things that we go through. Most of the problems that we go through stem from us not taking heed and not listening to the Most High and not taking his word to truth. You understand? We transgress against the Most High. And this is the reason why we are a destroyed people. Because we transgress so much, because we like that shrimp, crab, and that lobster, because we like that pork, because we like those prostitutes, because we like to do everything that goes against what the Most High tells us. This is the reason why we in the situation that we in. Well, guess what? The Isupk, Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, we are here to bring our people back to the truth. We're here to bring our people back to these commandments. A lot of people think that this Isupk is about religion. We are not about religion, but we are about following the laws, statutes, and commandments that the Most High has given us. Just like in the United States has its constitution, the Isupk has its constitution. Our constitution is the Bible. This Bible right here that everybody so carelessly runs from. You understand what I'm saying? But this is our constitution. These are the laws, statutes, and commandments. The Most High never gave us religion, but he gave us laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And because we don't follow it, this is the reason why our brothers and sisters are being destroyed in the street. You understand? This is the reason why we are being murdered. This is the reason why we are on drugs. This is the reason why we fornicate. This is the reason why we follow idolatry and all of these other religions that we are not supposed to follow. This is the reason why we celebrating Christmas and New Year's and all of these holidays that the Most High told us not to follow. So let's get into it, all right? You know? We want to step into, let's talk about, first off, let's go here. Let's go to that, you got that article?
I got it.
Okay. We want to start, let's read that article right there.
Right. This is from CNN.com. Whole towns are refusing COVID-19 vaccines in Mexico.
Check this out, right? It says whole towns are refusing the COVID-19 vaccines in Mexico. Now, we're not saying not to take this vaccine shot, but we want to get into this, and we want to show you just a little something about if you following what the Most High says. If you, all right, title, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. What does gather yourself together? It says gather yourself together, Zephaniah 2:1. Gather yourself together, yea, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. First off, it says gather yourself together. That means removing yourself from something that is not good. The Most High wants us to remove ourselves from the things that are destroying us. It says gather yourself together. So if you're removing yourself from one thing, you're coming together. He wants us to come together with our people. You understand what I'm saying? He wants us to come together because the only way that we can survive the onslaught of our oppressor is if we come together. You understand? We fight. You can fight better when you are when you come together with your people. Individually, we are a destroyed people. It says, gather yourself together, yea, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. He is also letting us know that these other nations do not desire us. And because they do not desire us, they come together with one consent to destroy us. Let's get into, go ahead, what you great say?
If I could, I don't know how to do the camera thing. But I'm not sure that, a lot they couldn't hear me. But just a quick, we're going to get into this article. I just want to make a quick point.
Right.
The article and what Officer McCombs are about to bring out is absolutely dynamic in this. it shows you the power of separation.
There we go. That's what I was trying to hit on right there.
You
Go
know what I'm
ahead.
saying? It shows you the power of separation and being detached from our oppressors.
Right.
You understand? They if I could, our oppressors learned quarantine from Israel.
Exactly.
Quarantine is in the Bible. Separating and all those things is in the Bible. That's the science behind that is in the Bible. You understand?
Right.
And another thing we're supposed to be is separate from these other nations. You understand?
Right.
And this is what this small town did. And because of that, you know, they were severed. The Lord allowed them to be severed from, you know, the plagues that's being done to our oppressor. All right. I just wanted to bring that out.
Go ahead.
I'm gonna read this article. It says, CNN for Mexican president. How do you pronounce this? On Andres Lopez. I just stopped there. Obrador. Vaccinating all Mexicans is a matter of responsible national health policy as well as social justice. Keep going.
Go keep on.
Vaccines will start arriving little by little, he said on February 15th. During his daily morning press conference, a week after returning to public activities after contracting COVID-19, quote, today we launched our vaccination plan and it won't stop. We will press ahead with the goal of vaccinating all the people according to the pre-established priorities. End quote.
These people right here, these people are people that are interacting with different nations coming into their country. You understand what I'm saying? These are people that this virus was brought into their country. Drop down to that little paragraph right after that.
Aldama?
Yeah.
In Aldama, a small town of about 7,000 located in the central highlands of southern Mexican state Chiapas. Some people say they will not get vaccinated regardless of any vaccination plan or where the vaccine comes from. Quote, why would I get vaccinated? I'm not sick. It wouldn't be good if they tried to force us to get vaccinated. I don't know, end quote, said Maria
Yeah, I got you.
Lopez,
Right.
an Aldama resident, to CNN in broken Spanish.
Right.
Indigenous communities like Aldama have a history of mistrust toward the federal government.
Yeah, basically, right, this community right here basically shut themselves off from all other surrounding countries. Now, I'm not talking about the Hispanic countries that are around them and the cities and towns that are around them, but I'm talking about neighboring countries like America and all of those European countries that come into all of the Hispanic nations and take them over. This country, this little city, this little town right here is controlled by their own people. Their mayors, their councilmen, and everyone are the people that actually live in this community. They actually have no cases of COVID. Now, I'm not saying not to take this COVID-19 vaccine or not to take it or anything like that, but the Most High tells us to separate ourselves from these nations that don't desire us. And when we separate ourselves and we follow what the Most High tells us to do, certain things we are privy to certain privileges, and privileges are not. Let's take this for instance, in the book of Exodus. In the book of Exodus, the Most High said to do what? The book of Exodus, what was that? Paint the lintel and the posts of your door with the blood, right? It said if you do this, then the Egyptians will be destroyed. I'm paraphrasing.
You'll be spared from the
spared, and the Egyptians will be destroyed. When the Israelites did that, the Egyptians were destroyed, or the firstborn was destroyed, and the Israelites were spared.
Right.
And on top of that, the Israelites were freed. The Most High freed them, right? He gave them freedom. How do we get freedom? We get freedom by following the laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand what I'm saying? If we do take these instructions that the Most High gives us, then we will be privy to certain things like, not being destroyed or not falling prey to our oppressor. Go ahead, finish reading that.
Indigenous communities like Aldama have a history of mistrust toward the federal government. In the best of cases, community leaders say they have been ignored. In the worst of cases, they've been subject to land grabs, discrimination, abuse, and attacks. This time, it seems a lack of information and conspiracy theories that have spread in the region like wildfire all to blame for vaccine hesitancy. Thomas Lopez Perez, Aldama's town's secretary, told CNN that the people there, including himself, strongly believe vaccines can do more harm than good. Just to elaborate on that.
Go ahead.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The UPK stance is to take the vaccine.
Exactly.
This is here is a unwise decision here that the people in charge are deciding to do. But let's read on. We're going to grasp a little something out of this article that we're trying to pinpoint here.
Right, that we're trying to pinpoint. Go ahead.
All right. Continuing. Quote, people are not well informed regarding this. Since we don't really know what the vaccines are made of, we believe that they contain the COVID-19 virus. That's the main reason why people don't want to get vaccinated, Lopez says, which we understand is not true yet.
Right.
But
the whole point of us bringing this article up is that we have a people who have separated themselves and who live amongst themselves and are living how they want to live. The Most High tells us to separate ourselves. You understand? We're not trying to dwell on the vaccine part. It is unwise for them not to take the vaccine. The UPK stance is if you can get the vaccine, take the vaccine. The vaccine is there to help us and not to hinder us. Go ahead. What was you going to say?
I was going to say, what we're trying to grasp in this article was that because they are severed from the other nations, they literally have quarantined from the world, from the earth, and because of that, they've been safe. The Lord allowed them to be safe from this virus on this island here, or in this region here.
Right.
That's
the whole thing, is that they basically self-quarantined. They were self-quarantined by separating themselves from the other people upon the face of the earth, and the Most High allowed them to not be affected by this COVID-19.
One last one, I'm gonna get off it.
Go ahead.
But the reason, if I could, for everybody to understand, the reason the rate, two things. The reason the rate of people here in this part of the Americas, the northern part of Americas, more or less the so-called United States or what have you, and the so-called African and Hispanic communities in America, the reason the rate is high is not only because of our underlying conditions. It's not only because of that. That is one reason, and the reason we have those underlying conditions is because of the oppression here in the Americas.
Exactly.
And another part, and the scriptures can back this up, is the scriptures say this: we are in the neck of thy enemy. Meaning what? We standing right next to them.
Right.
We right in the midst of them. That's why the numbers are so high here. If we had our own separate communities, our own land, our own, separate from our oppressors, maybe it'd be different. You understand?
Exactly.
But this particular region here, this particular town here in Mexico, they've been self-quarantined for years.
Right.
For years. And because of that, what I'm saying, the Lord has spared them from the virus.
Exactly.
Along, he spared them, okay? Go ahead.
I want to drop that article, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to delve into this article right here. This article, I don't think you got it on there.
I can get it.
Okay, African American farmers make up less than 2% of all U.S. farmers. That should be a Pacific Standard. It should say a new report finds that racial discrimination within the USDA programs
What is it under?
should be under Pacific Standard. You see that? New York Times. Hold up, let me make sure I got the right, giving you the right.
Black farmers make up.
Do you see this?
I can see it. PSMag.com.
Is that what it? Yep. I think
I got it. You ready?
Yep.
African American farmers make up less than 2% of all U.S. farmers. A new report finds that racial discrimination within the USDA programs is responsible for this decline.
And this is the problem right here, right? A lot of us, because we live in the United States, a lot of our people don't think that discrimination is happening to us today. You understand what I'm saying? When we came out of slavery in 1865, we had about 16% of all farmland in the U.S. You understand? We had about 16% of all farmland in the U.S. Well, by 2019, we make up less than 2%. Less than 2%. That's about 1.5% of all farmlands. You understand what I'm saying? Let's get into this article. Let me read this article. It says, African American farmers make up less than 2% of all farmers in the United States. Now, a lot of our farmland was lost to unfair business practices coming from our oppressor. You understand? And because we trust in our oppressor so much so, this is the reason why we were losing a lot of our farmland. We're going to grab a scripture. We're going to grab Ecclesiasticus, chapter 12, verse 10 in the Apocrypha. Let's go to Ecclesiasticus. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 10. And it says, never trust thine enemy. You understand what I'm saying? The scripture says, never trust thine enemy. And that's the problem with the so-called black Hispanics and natives, is that we trust in our enemy so much so, this is the reason why we being destroyed. The native Indians trusted in the so-called oppressor when they came over here, and the native Indians helped them get through that first winter. They wrote, let's say about over 177 peace treaties with the native Indian, and they broke every one of those peace treaties. We as so-called blacks and Hispanics, we go out and we vote every year thinking that some kind of change is going to come. Trusting in our enemy. These are the things that destroy us. We went from voting, thinking we voting, President Trump out and voting Biden in. We thought that something was going to change. Nothing is going to change. Voting has never gotten us anywhere. We've been voting since after slavery. We got the so-called right to vote in 1965. And from 1965 until 2020, what has it gotten us? It has gotten us nowhere. You understand? Voting didn't get us anything more than what we had coming out of slavery. You understand what I'm saying? We lost everything. We gave up. Matter of fact, falling into integration and falling into our oppressor is what lost us everything. You understand? It says, never trust thine enemy, for like as iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. Listen, no matter how good he looks to us, no matter how much we think he's going to do for us, eventually the evilness is going to show through. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody think because Biden is about to give away stimulus checks, we think that, oh, this is going to make us better. This is going to make life better for us. Man, this is not going to make life better for any of us. You mean to tell me after all of these years, all of a sudden, we get into a Biden and all of a sudden, he's going to all of a sudden change something that hasn't been changed since we've been emancipated. You understand what I'm saying? We are a destroyed people because we want to continue to believe in our oppressor. We are a destroyed people. And it says, for like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Listen, iron looks is nice, smooth, and shiny. But if iron sits long enough, eventually iron begins to rust through, and the real properties of iron begin to show. It says, as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Eventually, our oppressor's wickedness is going to show through. Hey, Salaki, sir, your phone went off. For like as iron rusted, so is his wickedness. Eventually, our oppressor's wickedness is going to show through. It says, African American farmers make up less than 2% of all farmers in the United States. They helm shrinking operations that are less profitable on average than those owned by their white counterparts. And according to the news report, this decline is a direct result of discriminatory lending practices. Let me say that again. This decline is the direct result of discriminatory lending practices by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Listen, this just said that the U.S. Department of Agriculture has discriminatory practices against African Americans.
Right.
Why should we be surprised? This has been going on since the beginning, since we've been here in this country. You understand? We should not be surprised at this. Right. And this is the reason why the scripture that we said before, gather yourself together, ye gather yourself together, O nation not desired. We need to come together and be with our own. We need to depend on our own people. You understand? But because we depend so much on our oppressor takes advantage of that. Now, like we said, coming out of slavery, African Americans own 16% of all farmlands in the United States. And if I'm not mistaken, it was about 22 million farmers, African American farmers, and now we down to like, I believe they said we down to like about 90,000. You understand what I'm saying? So we are losing farmland because of discriminatory practices, lending practices by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. You understand? And because we don't do business with our own people, this is the reason why we lose the things we lose. This is the reason why we lost all of the corner stores in the 80s, from the 80s into the early 90s. And if you can remember, in the late 70s into the early 80s, all of the corner stores were owned by black people. You understand what I'm saying? And not to mention, most of the liquor stores were owned by black people. It was black people supporting black people. You understand what I'm saying? The corner stores used to give credit to anybody that lived in the neighborhood. And the good thing about the credit that they used to give you, whatever you bought or whatever you put on your credit, that's what you paid for. It was no interest. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Black people didn't charge black people interest. Whatever you got, that's what you paid for. Well, guess what? Those so-called Chinese and Koreans came in, took all of those stores in the mid-90s into the early 2000s. Now we don't own any of those stores. Now we can't get credit, but we can get, what's that? Bad food.
Right.
You understand? Expired food. That's the one thing that I can say, living in a black neighborhood, growing up around a lot of black businesses, is that one thing black people didn't do was sell bad food. Because black people didn't want other black people putting a bad word out on them.
No, they cared about each other.
And we cared about each other. That's the most important thing, is that we cared about each other. Not only that, we supported each other. You understand? Now this says, as a direct result of discriminatory lending practices by the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Let's go and find out. Let's go think about how we lost a lot of those corner store businesses by unfair practices by city and state governments. I found out after I got older that a lot of the black businesses that were lost in our neighborhood were lost because of back taxes. You know, the government, the state and the city government can say that you owe them anything, and then they'll come in and scoop up your property with no problem. Then they scooped up those properties, and then when the Chinese and Koreans came in, they gave them tax abatement. A tax abatement was, if they came in and took these businesses, they would be tax-free for that first 10 years. And if they traded that business over to a family member, they would get another 10 years tax abatement. You understand what I'm saying? This is how the Koreans and the Chinese held on to these businesses when they came over here. A lot of us, what we used to hear was, oh, they worked hard. You understand? Oh, they saved up their money. How can you save up money from a rice paddy field that the people in your country are robbing you for? The government is robbing you for.
You got Ezra's 8.
Who?
Ezra's 8.
Ezra's 8? I thought I did. Let's go to that. Ezra's 8. Is that 8 and 85?
I think so.
8 and 85. Ezra's 8 and 85. I believe that is.
Is it first Ezra?
First Ezra's.
First Ezra's 8 and
Yep.
82.
80. Let's start at 84.
First Ezra's 8 and 84. Therefore, now shall ye not join your daughters unto their sons. Wait, where that?
It says, therefore now shall ye not join your daughters unto their sons. It says, we shouldn't join our daughters unto their sons. Why shouldn't we join our daughters unto their sons? We shouldn't join our daughters into their sons because what? It will cause us to follow other gods.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? And in following other gods, we will forget about the Most High. And we will forget about the power that the Most High would have for us. You understand what I'm saying? We will forget about the Most High and follow other gods from other nations, which is what we do today when you follow in Christianity. You understand? When you follow in Islam. You understand? Following other gods. When you celebrate Christmas, when you celebrate New Year's and all these other fake holidays, you understand? This is what happens when you marry your daughters unto their sons. Go ahead.
Come. Neither shall you take their daughters unto your sons.
Neither shall you take their daughters unto your sons. You understand? And ain't nothing worse than a man following a woman. But we know that that's what can happen. Go ahead.
Come. 85. Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them.
And that's what destroys us the most. You understand? We always seeking to have peace with our oppressor. You understand? It says, moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them. When the native Indians sat down and tried to seek to have peace with those pilgrims or with the European that came in, what happened? That European, what we said earlier, that European broke all 177 peace treaties that he had with the native Indians. You understand? Every time we sit and we try to have peace with our oppressor always turns to destroy us. You understand? Go ahead.
Come. Never seek to have peace with them, that ye may be strong
Go ahead.
and eat the good things of the land.
It says that ye may be strong and eat the good things of the land. Listen, when you have your own land, when you have your own property, when you have your own businesses, you can eat the good things of the land. You can also be strong. How can you be strong? You can be strong when we supporting one another. You understand? We supporting our own businesses. You understand? We always supporting our oppressor. We always supporting the other heathen nations. The heathen nations don't even support, our businesses. So if they don't support us, why should we support them? This is how you strengthen yourself. This is how we strengthen ourselves. You understand? Moreover, ye shall never seek to have peace with them, that ye may be strong. The only way you can be strengthened is strength comes in numbers. You understand what I'm saying? And if we support each other, we can be strong. You understand? Go ahead.
I'm make a point. It ain't about the numbers. It can be one brother, and if the Lord is with that one brother,
Right.
we're going to prevail. But if I could just elaborate just a little bit, Officer McCombs.
Go ahead.
We gotta recognize and understand. If I could, I don't want to take the. I damn near want to get on the damn podium.
Go ahead.
But this is the reason that we're weak.
This is the reason
We're weak because we don't follow the law.
Exactly.
This is a direct order to say, look, don't deal with these people like this. Don't seek peace with them. You know what I'm saying? And when you go against that, we lose our strength.
Exactly.
And we lost the strength in the financial field, the social field, and every field that we can think of because of the so-called Martin Luther King and these Negro leaders. He led us down a path that made us weaker.
Exactly.
Like even today, if I could elaborate, what you brought up was very heavy. Was very, very heavy point that you said. You said back in the late 70s and the early 80s, all the corner stores are black.
Right.
That's unheard of to the generation after that.
Can't believe it.
They never seen it.
Right. They couldn't even fathom.
Can't even fathom it.
And what we always say is we were basically the last generation to get to actually see what a little strength looks like.
Right.
You understand? We were already being disobedient to the Most High, not following the law, statutes, and commandments. But we actually got to see a little bit. And when our youth, when our children hear us talking about that, it's unfathomable to them. You understand? They can't believe that black people, the same stores that you see Chinese people in, you can't believe that black people own them. Not only did they own them, but we lived upstairs above them. So they lived in the same neighborhood and everybody knew everybody. You understand what I'm saying? But that's unheard of to them.
Right.
They only thing they know is plastic glass
Right.
and everything like that. They don't know open air stores coming in and being able to shake a hand or something like that, or somebody, a store owner telling you, when I was a kid, go out there and sweep the front for me and I'll give you a little bit of change so you can come back in and buy something. That's unheard of.
Right.
You understand? Only thing they know is standing on the corner waiting for a hit. You know what I mean? That's it. You
Right.
understand? But just like you said, our strength is in following these laws, statutes, and commandments. If we come back to these laws, statutes, and commandments, the things that we saw in those late 70s, I gotta say from the 60s through the 70s into the early 80s.
Right.
You understand? That was something that I grew up with. So it's still like fresh in my mind. I can still remember that.
Right.
You understand? But that was a inkling.
Right.
You understand? An inkling of strength.
Exactly.
You understand?
Just scratching the surface.
Just scratching the surface. So just imagine if we come back to following this whole book. Just think about take 10 of them. Think about this. What did the so-called Jewish man do? He just took the first 5 books. And look at where he's at.
Right.
So imagine if we took the whole book.
Right.
You understand? We'd be the head and they'd be the tail.
Right.
You understand?
Which is coming.
Which is coming. You understand? Where we at?
We in 85 still.
Go ahead.
That ye may be strong and eat the good things of the land, and that ye may leave the inheritance of the land unto your children forevermore.
Think about it, right? It says, and that ye may leave an inheritance. What do, us as so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives, what do we know about an inheritance? Think about this too, right? Think about a Michael Jackson. Think about a Whitney Houston. Think about, and I'm naming people that died. Think about a Prince, right? What did they leave their children? Because think about this, that legacy that Michael Jackson had went back to Sony.
Right.
Everything that he went back to Sony. Whitney Houston, everything that she had, and her daughter died. Everything that she had went back to who she worked for. You understand?
Right.
Even with Prince, everything that he owned went back to Sony again. You understand? I don't even think Prince had kids. So, I mean, think about it, right?
Right.
Even our people that we look up to, that we think made it, didn't really make it. Didn't even leave anything in an inheritance for their children. I was listening to, you ever seen The Breakfast Club? Charlamagne and them, right? Dame Dash came one day and asked them, what you got to leave your child? You can't leave them The Breakfast Club. This ain't even your show. You understand what I'm saying? What do we have to leave our kids? Listen, the first step to leaving our kids an inheritance is coming back to the laws, statutes, and commandments. This is the beginning of leaving our children an inheritance. You have to have a foundation, and our foundation starts with the laws, statutes, and commandments. We have to learn to follow the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? Let's get back to this article right here. Right? It says, in an analysis released on Wednesday, the liberal think tank Center for American Progress found that black farmers lost 80% of their farmland from 1910 to 2007, often because they lacked access to loans or insurances needed to sustain their businesses. Think about this, right? Every time something happens in the Midwest and the farmlands go bad, automatically the government steps up and gives all of those people that are in the Midwest basically welfare. You understand what I'm saying? But as a black farmer, they were not getting the same things that their white counterparts were getting. But if we had come back to the law, statutes, and commandments and follow what the Most High told us and gathered ourselves together and supported one another, we wouldn't have to worry about getting a welfare check from our oppressor, because we would sustain ourselves by helping ourselves and going into helping our own people. Think about this.
We started that in the 80s.
Yeah,
Hey, did you? If I, now I keep
no,
cut you off.
I was,
Go ahead.
go ahead. No, I was going to say to you, think about this, right? Looking at this right here. Think about in the 1920 when the Depression hit,
Right.
right? When the Depression hit, who was suffering through the Depression? And remember, our so-called oppressor was just coming out of World War I, right? And because he was so stressed in World War I, he came out and a depression began to happen. A depression began to happen because what? He did not want to be around our people, so he forced us to have to rely on our own people. And guess what? We had millionaires going through the depression. And when our oppressor saw that, our oppressor got very, very, very jealous. And what happened? Our oppressor came and destroyed what we had. You understand? And if you can take from that, you can take of when we come together, you understand? And we rely on our own people, when we gather ourselves together, we can sustain ourselves. We do not need our oppressor. But the thing is we do need the Most High. We can't do anything without coming back to the Most High and using these laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand what I'm saying? The laws, statutes, and commandments do what? They show you how to do business with one another. They show you proper brotherhood. They show you how to deal with your oppressor. They show you how to deal with the heathen nations. This is a, what do they call it? This is it has a dietary law. You understand what I'm saying? It tells us what to eat and what not to eat. You understand? It tells you how to deal with your oppressor, what you should do and what you shouldn't do. We were just reading earlier where it says, don't marry your daughters unto their sons, and don't marry your sons unto their daughters. You understand what I'm saying? This book has everything we need to build our nation. You understand? Let's read. It says the USDA has a long and well-documented history of discrimination against black farmers. You understand? I'm not surprised at that. We've been discriminated against since we've been here. That's not something that's a surprise to us here in the UPK anyway. You understand? Yeah, one, please. It says the author writes, the unequal administration of government farm support programs, crucial in protecting farmers from an inherently risky enterprise, has had a profound impact on rural communities of color. Listen, they're gonna let us, what's the scripture? Here we go, Ecclesiasticus 12 and 17. Ecclesiasticus chapter 12, verse 17. Hey, before you read that, let me run across this again.
Okay.
It says the USDA has a long, well-documented history of discrimination against black farmers. And authors write, the unequal administration of government farm support programs, crucial to protecting farmers from an inherently risky enterprise, has had a profound impact on rural communities of color. It has totally destroyed us. You got that?
Come.
Read that.
Come. Ecclesiasticus 12 and 17?
12 and 17.
Come. If adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first.
Go ahead.
And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee.
Did you hear that? Listen, it says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, just like our oppressor. And though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Listen, this government has totally undermined black farmers. You understand? And it's not that it's an isolated incident. This has happened all across the board. This always happens to so-called blacks, Hispanics, and natives. You understand? This is the reason why you got natives, Indians sitting on reservations now. And not only are they sitting on reservations, but they sitting on reservations destroyed people. Those reservations are basically concentration camps. You can't build on the land that they say is yours unless you get permission. But guess what? They could run a pipeline through your land if they want, and they don't have to get permission from you to do it. You understand what I'm saying? It says, if adversity come upon thee, thou shalt find him there first. And though he pretend to help thee, listen, they always act like they helping you. You understand? They always act like they helping you, but the underlining point of the whole thing is that they are actually there to destroy you. You understand what I'm saying? Just like the civil rights movement. The civil rights movement, everybody thought the civil rights movement was going to make a big deal for black people. You understand? But guess who was at the top of the civil rights movement? You had 4 white men at the top of the civil rights movement, just to make sure that the civil rights movement didn't move a muscle. You understand what I'm saying? The civil rights movement never moved a muscle. They did a lot of marching, and they did a lot of marching in place. You understand what I'm saying? You ever seen a platoon marching and they marching in place? That was the civil rights movement. They went nowhere. It looked good, but they went nowhere. You understand what I'm saying?
It got worse.
It got worse, definitely. It got worse. You understand? But we are destroyed people because the thing with us is we are, what do they call it? Visual. When things look good, we satisfied. You understand? When Obama got elected, we were satisfied. Didn't ask for a thing. But because that visual looked so good, because we saw that black skin, we were satisfied. Kamala Harris comes in. Because that visual, women are totally destroyed. And because women are totally destroyed, and us as men, we follow our women, we are totally destroyed as a people. You understand? We see that black face, that's just enough for us. You understand? They make promises to us, that's enough for us. No follow through. We ain't looking for nothing else. You got something on that?
Damn right.
Go ahead.
Like in the scripture is so heavy. It says, although he pretends to help you, like as before you said, like Obama pretended like he was gonna. It seemed like he was gonna do something. The same thing with the Biden administration, especially with it comes especially with that Democratic Party. Right. They ride the coattail. What's the term? Coattail. Right. of black and Hispanic oppression. Right. For votes, and then they get in office and do absolutely nothing.
They do absolutely nothing. Listen. We are such a destroyed people. I talk to people, especially about the voting aspect. And the thing is women are so emotional. You understand? And because women are so emotional, all they have to do is see something. You know what today is, right? You know what today is?
It's International Women's Day?
There you go. And if you give a woman anything that is about her, that's all it takes. You understand what I'm saying? What did the serpent do in the garden? Right. The serpent in the garden gave Eve a vision. And I don't mean vision like a vision in the sky. He gave her a visual. You could be like a god. You understand what I'm saying? And that's all it took. And because man followed woman, we fell. We fell together. We are a destroyed people because we don't follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. What's that? 1 Corinthians 11:3. There is an order, and because we are not in order, this is the reason why we are a destroyed people. It says, what's that? Corinthians 11, 1 Corinthians 11:3. It's,
you want to get it?
yeah, please. Salah.
First Corinthians 11:3. But I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ.
It says, but I will have you know that the head of every man is Christ. Listen, we follow Christ. The man follows Christ. You understand what I'm saying? Christ hands down the law, statutes, and commandments. He hands down the orders of the Father to us. You understand? Go ahead.
And the head of the woman is the man.
And the head of the woman is the man. Now listen, if we would step into order and we would follow the order that the Most High gave us and have our women following us and not us following our women, we could fall into a proper order that could bring us up quicker than we coming down. You understand what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Come on. And the head of Christ is the Most High.
And the head of Christ is the Most High. That's your order right there. You have the Most High, you have Christ, you have the man, and you have the woman. That's proper order. If we followed that order right there, we would be on top. Because of why? Because a National Women's Day wouldn't mean anything to our women. Our women wouldn't throw their noses up at us when they got a day to themselves. That day wouldn't mean a thing to them. You understand what I'm saying? They would follow their men. You understand? But because we don't follow the law, statutes, and commandments of the Most High, this Women's Day means a lot to women. A lot of women are going to be expecting gifts and presents and everything from their man because they have a day unto themselves, because they think today that they are a God. You understand what I'm saying?
You're right.
They think that they are a God today. This is almost like a second birthday to them. You understand what I'm saying?
Second Mother's Day?
A second Mother's Day. Listen, they got, that's 3 personal days to them. I think, yeah, that's damn near a job. You understand? They got personal days.
Right.
You understand? God dang. You understand?
Did you hear what what's Obama's right name? Michelle Obama
Michelle
said?
Obama.
Hear what she said?
What she said?
I may have to look it up again, but if I'm not mistaken, she put out a message about Dwayne Wade's son, that's so-called transgender.
Right.
What's his name? Something with his E, right? Zeta, something garbage like that. You know what I'm saying? The young man's a homosexual.
Right.
He got dealing with some, extremely destructive demons.
Demons, exactly.
And she wants to, and Michelle Obama, if I'm not mistaken, I may have to go, into it a little bit more, praised this young man on International Women's Day. You understand? Talking about like he's a hero for women.
Listen.
And inspiration.
She's destroyed in her own right, marrying that heathen.
Right.
You understand? Not only that, but if I'm not mistaken, what they said, hold up, wait a minute. Since you said that, Commanding General Yohana pulled up something that, he pulled it up a while ago, but Bruce Jenner got Woman of the Year.
Oh, he got he got a not that and the ESPY award.
How do you get an award for being Woman of the Year and you're not even a woman?
Right.
Now, listen, even with a change, you still are not a woman. You don't have womanly function. So how? And this goes to show you that America is Sodom and Gomorrah. This goes to show you that This is a destroyed nation. This nation is just sitting on a hotbed waiting for the Most High to take it out. You understand what I'm saying? How do you give? Now, all right, we already know we do not do the International Women's Day. We do not do the women's days and the birthdays and things like that.
Right.
But even in a heathen sense, how do you give a woman's award to someone who is not even a woman?
Right.
That's how you know this is a destroyed nation.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Right.
This is what they said, Babylon. This is Babylon. This is Sodom. You understand?
God.
This nation is going to be destroyed in nuclear warfare. You understand? And it deserves to be. And I praise the Most High. And I hope he brings it on. You understand? Let's read. Where we at? Where was we at?
I think we're done on that.
All right. It says, here we go. All right. It says, as the authors note, black farmers have faced a legacy. A legacy. Think about this, right? It says, as the author notes, black farmers have faced a legacy of discrimination. This means that they have a history of things happening. They have documented history. This is how you know this place is not our rest.
Perpetual hatred.
Perpetual hatred. But not only that, right? Look at it what it says. It says, as the author notes, black farmers have faced a legacy. This means they have documented history of us destroying you over and over and over and over and over again.
Right.
And we continue to trust in our oppressor. You understand? It says, gather yourself together, O nation not desired. The Most High tells us that you are a people. We are a people that are not desired. This is the reason why I need you to gather yourself together, come together, and come back to my laws, statutes, and commandments. Everything that we need is in this book right here. But we refuse to listen. We refuse. We are a glutton for pain and punishment. You understand? We love pain and punishment. It's like, what did he say? It's like that old girlfriend that keep getting her face busted open, but she keeps saying, I love him though, I love him though.
Right.
We are that girlfriend that says, I love him though.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? He gonna change. Remember, you ever see a girl get beat up? But I can change him.
Right.
That's who we are.
Right.
I could change him. You understand? Give me a chance. Just give me a chance.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? We destroy people.
Right.
You understand? It says, for white landowners denying them private credit. And white landowners, they get all the credit that they need. You understand? Listen. Did you see the Black Watch 2 weeks ago when Commander General Yohana said the dude yelled out his window at the family about they need to go get a job, but then he had the name of his company on the side of his truck, and when they pulled it up, they found out he got a big check from the government for a big stimulus check.
Right.
So he got welfare too. You understand? It's okay for them to get welfare, but it's wrong for you to get it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? It's okay for them to fall on hard times, but it's wrong for you. And this is the reason why we have to gather ourselves together. We have to come together as a nation of people. Every nation on the face of this planet sticks together except for us. Every nation looks out for their own except for us. We look out for every nation except for our own people. You understand? And I guess the Most High gives us empathy and sympathy. He gives us more than enough empathy and sympathy, but we use it up on the other nations. You understand what I'm saying? We use it up on everybody but the people we are supposed to use it on. It says, love thine enemy, right? We supposed to be, when it says love thine enemy, we supposed to love our own brothers and sisters who we have enmity with, not the other nations. You understand what I'm saying? But we show the other nations all the love in the world, and we are quick to destroy our own people. You feel me? It says, to the government rejecting their applications for USD programs. The effects of this discrimination are startlingly apparent. Over the last century, African American farmers made up around 14% of U.S. farmers in 1910, but just 1.6% in 2012, and it's down to actually now by 2018 it was down to 1.5%. You understand what I'm saying? And still dropping. And still dropping because we don't wanna gather ourselves together. You understand? We don't wanna help our own people. You understand? We don't consider the cause of the poor. You understand? We don't consider our own people. We consider every nation before us. You feel me? Let's see. Internal audits and outside research suggest that even in the last decade, the USDA has failed to address its discriminatory practices. Let's say this, right? We just read the scripture where it says, if adversity comes upon thee, thou shalt find him there first, and though he pretend to help thee, yet shall he undermine thee. Come on, this is of course this is going to happen. Who's running the nation? Our oppressor, right? If our oppressor's running the nation and he's running every government of the nation, what do you expect to get from your oppressor? Nothing. This is just what happens. You understand? Here's some context for these new statistics and the history behind them. Black farmers make less than white farmers on average. Of course, that's natural. According to the Census of Agriculture, which is conducted every 5 years, there were about 33,400 African American. That's even less than we said before. We said, what, 60,000, didn't we?
Wow.
It's 33,400 African American farmers.
I think he said 90 something.
90,000.
We at a third now.
We at a third now. Exactly. You know,
Third of that.
in the country, that's in 2012. So it could be even less than that now.
Right.
Out of a total of 2.1 million. Think about it, right? 2.1 million down to 33,400.
Yeah.
That's incredible. 2 million. Listen, hold up. Wait. Let me backtrack that. Right, there were about 33,400 African American farmers in the country in 2012, out of about a total of 2.1 million farmers. 2 million of whom are white.
How many?
It's 2 million are white. It's only 33,400, so that 2 point whatever is white farmers. And then on top of that, think about it, right? On top of that, they get all of the benefits when crops go bad, when crops are shut out or froze out. They get all of the benefits, and then the African American farmers get the back end. So think about it. Every year, all of the funds go to all of the white farmers first, and then whatever's left over goes to the black farmers.
Right.
So every year, the black farmers dwindle down more and more and more and more. And this is the reason why it is important for us to purchase land now. You understand what I'm saying? By any means necessary. You understand? Because eventually, we're going to have to sustain our own, and we're going to have to take care of our own people. But Commander General Yohana is in the process of doing that already anyway.
Right.
So, you understand? That's already.
They already doing it in Louisiana.
Right.
Under Commander Yohana.
Right. Under Commander Yohana.
They got those rights, man.
Exactly. You understand? And look, what was you just now talking about? What were you just now talking about before class?
Just before class, talking about Midland.
And I think that'd probably be the best thing.
Right.
You know, that's a great idea. Either way, you understand? It says, listen, the Center for American Progress found that the average full-time white farmer made $17,190 in farm income in 2017. while the average full-time African-American farmer made $2,408.
Mm.
Can you believe that? The average full-time white farmer made damn near $17,200 in farm income. We're talking about in farm income, and we're talking about the income after you've paid everything. This is what you got left over.
Right.
You understand? So this is the income, the money that's coming in after you've paid for your grain, after you paid for your farm equipment, after you've gotten everything fixed up. They got $17,190 left over to do with whatever they need.
Right.
The African American only has $2,408. What can you do?
That's less than 3%
It's less.
of what they would get.
That's less.
Less than 30%.
Listen, that's less than 5%. That's about just over 5%.
Yeah. That's ridiculous.
This is partly because black-owned farms make up a very small portion of acreage nationwide, 0.04%. According to the report, in 2012, most African-American farmers owned operations that were less than 180 acres.
Right.
But then what you have to still, what you still have to ask yourself is, what kind of land is that? Even though they got 180 acres of land, is it 180 acres of farmable land?
Right.
You understand? Because we know that our oppressor doesn't just give us good land. You understand? So now you have to question whether is it 180 acres of farmable land? And 9 times out of 10, no, it's not.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? But studies show that these farmers also failed to get the support they needed from the USDA. In a 2018 study, Georgia farmers in Black Belt counties, the researchers concluded that African American farmers have witnessed their farms and lands disappear at an alarming rate since farm programs have not reached them via research, teaching, and extensions from the federal to local levels. I mean, think about it, right? Everything that they give out always reaches us last. You understand what I'm saying?
Okay.
Everything that they give out always reaches us last. I'm not surprised at that. You understand? And then by the time it does reach us, they always say, well, we only have this amount left, so we can only give you this.
Right.
You understand? After you've given millions and millions and millions to white farmers, whatever's left over, and this is the reason why Christ said what? He said, should I paraphrase this, right? It is not meat that I give the children's bread.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? To the dogs. You understand what I'm saying? This is the reason why we have to take care of our own. We so busy helping our oppressor. We so busy helping the heathens get ahead and refuse to help our own people get ahead. That reminds me of Tyler Perry and Oprah Winfrey
right.
and them like that. You understand?
Did you hear what Tyler Perry did for
Yeah, I heard. Yeah, you know I did. I heard what he did for the Prince.
Right.
And that white heathen.
Mm-hmm.
You understand what I'm saying? And this is why we are destroying people, because I'm pretty sure where Tyler Perry lives at, where he comes from, I know it's people starving in need from where he come from, especially Oprah.
Yep.
You understand?
He's from Chicago, ain't you?
What year were you born?
90-something.
90-something, right? I was going to say something, but you know, Oprah was here in the 70s.
Word.
Into the early 80s, right? She was on the show People Are Talking with Richard Sher.
Word.
You understand? She didn't get her start here, but she made it here. You understand what I'm saying? And my thing is when you come from a place like Baltimore or Chicago or wherever you from, you know the plight of your people. And I just question, like, how did she get so destroyed to the point where she hate her own people? You understand what I'm saying? I just question that, because Just like Tyler Perry, I question what he went through to hate his own people too. The money that these people have, and they continue to sit and destroy us, whether it be on film or whether it be in news reporting. You understand what I'm saying? All of the movies that Tyler Perry make is destroys the image of the black male
And the black one.
and the black woman. It makes the black woman look like a beast. It makes the black man look effeminate and soft and gay.
Right. And the whole character of Medea, they, it's like the society accepts it.
Exactly.
Accepts it.
Like that's less exceptional for an elderly woman that he's trying to pursue to behave. That I don't never want to see none of my sisters of age to behave in that manner.
With a gun.
With a gun and, acting like that. That is the absolute opposite of what a woman of, what the scriptures say, uses these terms. It says the aged woman.
The aged woman.
That's what the scriptures say.
And the aged woman is supposed to train the young woman.
Exactly.
You understand?
And here comes Medea.
Exactly. And here comes Medea. Destroys that image totally. And the thing is, right? It destroys it to the point where our people get so captivated that everybody wants to be that. You understand what I'm saying? Everybody wants to be a Medea. You ever see that challenge that they got? And then you see, I saw somebody do the Medea.
So the Medea challenge now?
Well, you know how on the TikTok they got, it's Medea's voice, but the person is acting out the scene.
Right.
And talking to the kid grimy. You understand what I'm saying? And
They say you see
when people see us, the first thing they think of is these images that they see of us on screen, on camera, and on the news. You understand? The propaganda is heavy against us. You understand? And we have to wake up and understand that.
it's all by design.
It's all by design. You understand?
It's the people that hate us out there.
Exactly. You understand? The people that hate us are running the show, and we keep falling, just like the Housewives of Atlanta. That is the worst image. And then the thing about it is, damn near every black woman, if she ain't in the UPK, wants to be those women, destroyed by the images of those women, and it propagates it enforces what the image that they putting out there. When you see that and you fall into that, then all of a sudden those images come into reality. You understand? Let's get back to this. It says the farm service agencies oversee farm loan programs that have helped farmers purchase land and make renovation. Now, when it says helps them to purchase land, they won't finance you for good land. They'll finance you for land that they know in the end they're gonna get that land back, because you're gonna default on the loan. They're gonna get the money from the loan, and they're gonna get the land back and be able to resell the land again. You understand? It says, or provide financial incentives for making their operations more sustainable. There's plenty of evidence that African American participation in these programs is low. According to the 3 researchers from Tuskegee University, this is because the USDA has not done successful outreach to black farmers. Not to mention, they give high-ass interest rates and things like that. Things that they don't do to our white counterparts. You understand what I'm saying? Underlining the fact that socially disadvantaged farmers, a USDA term that includes African American farmers, have not participated in the USDA program to the same degree as majority producers, is the fact that for generations they have been denied access to these programs, they wrote. You understand? Even when black farmers were made aware of these programs, their applications were systematically denied for decades. The most recent USDA Officers of Inspectors General audit examining minority participation in FSA programs in 1997 found that district offices in 5 states denied direct loans socially disadvantaged farmers at a 16% rate higher rate than others. I think it's higher than that. You understand? Because you can't have a 2.1 million to 333,408 advantage and it be that low at 16%. It's got to be higher. It's got to be higher than that. The office says it's improved its process and response time. Think about it, right? It says the office says it has improved its process and response time for handling complaints since 2008. But a 2012 audit found that the office often took years to address them. Took years. By that time, these people have lost their farmland.
Right.
You understand? And just like we said before, right? Even when they financing you for this farmland, a lot of this farmland is not even really farmable land. You understand? You can't grow this or you can't grow that. And then if you can find something that you can grow, they probably selling you stuff so high of a rate that you don't even make that much of a profit off of. You understand? Just like we seen that income difference of 17,000 to 2,000. That's a big ass difference. You understand? Let's grab another scripture. Let's grab what's that? 2 Thessalonians chapter 3 verse 2.
Second Thessalonians 3:2, and that we may be delivered from unreasonable.
Oh, Salakia, sir. My bad. 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. My bad.
Can you do that real quick? Can you do that?
I got you. It says 2 Thessalonians chapter 2 verse 3. It says, let no man deceive you by any means. It says, let no man deceive you by any means. What does that mean? It says, we can't fall for the same old by our oppressor. This is what happens to us. We keep falling for that get out and vote. You understand? We keep falling for that we'll get it done for you. All you have to do is elect us. You understand? We have all of these so-called black elected officials. We got black commissioners. We got black city councilmen. We got black mayors. We got black governors, but we still sit in the same place that we've been sitting for years and years and years. It says, let no man deceive you by any means. We let our oppressor deceive us by every means. You understand? We keep putting our trust in our oppressor instead of putting our trust in the Most High. That's what we have to do. Is we have to put our trust in the Most High. You understand? It says, for that day shall not come. It says, for that day shall not come. What day is he talking about? For that day shall not come. It's talking about the day that Christ returned. You understand? The return of Christ. You understand? To put a stranglehold on our oppressor. It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first. A falling away from what? A falling away from the customs and culture of the nations that do not desire us. Falling away from the customs and culture of America. Falling away from Christmas. Falling away from Easter. Falling away from Thanksgiving. Falling away from New Year's. You understand? Falling away from getting high, falling away from shrimp, crab, and lobster, falling away from pork, falling away from everything that goes against what the Most High has told us. You understand? And that man of sin be revealed. Who is that man of sin? It says a man. It does not say a spirit. It says a man. Who is that man of sin? Our oppressor. You understand? It says, let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come. What day is that? That's that day that Christ returns and puts his foot on our oppressor's neck. You understand? Except there come a falling away first, falling away from all of the sin and all of the things that, goes with America. Falling away from the customs and culture. You understand? That it be revealed. You understand? We have to come out of America. You understand? We can't marry our sons into their daughters. We can't marry their daughters unto our sons. We can't trust in our oppressor. We have to trust in the Most High. You understand what I'm saying? And in trusting in the Most High, we become the head and they become the tail. You all right, brother? All right. Yeah, And that's what we're talking about. You understand what I'm saying? We have to come out of her. We have to come out of the customs and culture of America. These are the things that destroy us. You understand? We are destroyed because we want to indulge in the things that America indulges in. We want to indulge in all that fornication and all of that idolatry. We want to indulge in Islam. We want to indulge in Christianity and all of these things. But we have to come out of that. You understand? We are too trusting of a people. You understand? The Most High tells us, gather yourselves together, O nation not desired. We are a people who are not desired. And once we understand that we are a people not desired, then we can begin to come back to the Most High. Because we have no choice but to. You understand? We have to rely on our own people. And here in the Isupk, that's what we do. We rely on the Most High. You understand? We follow the laws, statutes, and commandments. You understand? And with that, I'm going to pass the class over to Priest, Officer, and Slakia, Captain Saparia, our leader in Baltimore. You understand?
Outstanding lesson. Absolutely dynamic, absolutely powerful class. Officer of the Brotherhood. Just some quick announcements to conclude the class here. Isupk security announcements. We are the Isupk out of 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Commander Yohana. Rules for brothers and sisters. New rules for brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves with the word. After 6 months, if a brother or a sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There's another 6 months in which a brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 month period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find this in Numbers 18 and 21 and Malachi 3, 8 through 10. It is 10 in the Hebrew and is pronounced by Isupk. 10% of every penny of any increase that the Lord gives you, give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest money. Free will offering for priests, not mandatory. Whatsoever amount you would like to give. Up and coming holy Up and coming holy convocations. Of course, we got the Passover coming up. You understand? you know, for everybody that's tuning in from Baltimore or abroad, what have you, make sure you get in contact with the school. Make sure you call that school, get in contact with that captain in that region or in that city, and to get you situated with whatever, maybe plane tickets or hotel reservations, and get you situated. It's a $200 fee for each adult. Make sure you get your arrangements in that. The Passover is literally next month. And we want to get everybody that we can down there to Houston, Texas. It's going to absolutely be a phenomenal event. And I want everybody that's in the Baltimore area and this region to be there. So contact the school. If you're outside of Baltimore, just contact the school near you, maybe New York, Chicago, wherever you may be tuning in from, all right? Just call the school closest to you. And we're going to do everything in our power to get you down in Houston. And you do everything in your power to get you down in Houston, you understand? Reminder, Agim and Aqua to check on social media, such as Isupk.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for IGK events and materials. If a brother wants to become a trooper at the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and scarf. And with that, we're going to give one courtesy salute to the teacher, Officer Thumb, men of Israel, Aymanim Shabbat, Aymanim, Barak, Yahweh Shimon Shah Brakatah,
Yahweh Shimon Shah Brakatah.
Yahweh class dismissed. Excellent class. Excellent class. Absolutely.
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you are a black man like me. And it works.
My whole life was trying to find something to follow. Had loyalty, every man tried to borrow. Felt pain and a lot of sorrow. Got betrayed, so packed, I didn't even have my heart broke. Living confused, about to lose hope. Cops got me on the side of the road like a sideshow. Need an antidote before I croak. Now I'm setting fire to rhythm man blues for this guitar smoke. Rebel with no cause, trying to find direction. The world got me vexed. Picked up a bad liquor habit that's hereditary from oppression. Felt like my life was on fire, trying to find an exit. Now look, 10 G's plus a good break. Sometimes a follower is a soldier, trying to find a good shepherd. Plus when you in hell, how did you excel? Wisdom the breath of life, I believe in fairy tale. Listen well to what I tell. No calling can cause pain. Something that a rebel knows very well. Can't you tell I was sent from the Lord? Got a tongue like a two-edged sword. With his
Nobody tell you cry. You know why? Because I never saw you before. But you are black.